This is FAISAL for Lights Out in association with Shamrock Boxing, and over the phone I've got Duke Mckenzie. Duke, good afternoon. How you doing?
Yeah, good afternoon, Faisal. Very well, thank you.
Yep.
Very good.
Good, excellent.
Bearing up under the immense strain.
It's tough times for us all, of course, due to this coronavirus situation, and of course the UK lockdown. Announced the other night by the Prime Minister that we'd all be under a UK lockdown. Firstly, Duke, obviously before we talk about the boxing scene, I just wanted to get your thoughts on the current situation that the world is having to face with this deadly virus.
Well, listen, nobody knew it was coming, obviously, and there's no real way you can really react except follow government guidelines. And all businesses, everybody's in the same position, so we all have to err on the side of caution. We all have to look after one another and be more sort of community minded and just take each other's needs into consideration.
Yeah, 100%. How are you finding the current situation? With the self isolation, being under lockdown, and of course, having to sort of live a lifestyle that you're not used to living, because obviously we know that you still are involved in the boxing scene, doing your punditry and stuff. But now obviously it's different for everyone having to be stuck at home. How are you sort of handling that sort of this new lifestyle that we're all having to go through?
Well, listen, it's like being in training camp. You're back in training camp. When you're in training camp, you're on your own. You've only got yourself. You get up in the morning, you do your runs, you come back, you shower, you go back to bed, you rest, you do your training. So it's no different. It's the same sort of mindset, really. I just feel sorry for people that don't have that sort of mindset. This is just a whole new game. It's a game changer in a lot of ways for everybody. People that aren't used to standing, people that aren't used to being active, going about their business on a daily basis. This is new to them. So, like I say, I think. Listen, the sooner we can all work together as a community, the sooner the doctors and nurses can find a cure for this, or not a cure, as soon as they can find a remedy to try and stem the flow, then the better it'll be for everybody. As soon as we go back to being normal again.
100%. In terms of obviously the lockdown, do you see the British public upholding this lockdown, or do you think it could get to a situation where the Prime Minister does turn around and say, right, that's it, everything is off now?
I think that's inevitable, because people being people, they can't sit still, and they don't like being told what to do, regardless of the consequences. I just wish everybody would listen to the government, because obviously they've got everybody's best interest at heart. And I think for the people that are still out there, still going out, they got to really. They got to look in the mirror and examine their conscience, because they're not just putting themselves at risk; they're putting everybody else at risk. This COVID-19, it's a very serious thing, and if you don't take it seriously, then more for you, because sadly more people are going to die from this bad experience.
Well, we hope that's not the case, but with the way things are going on, the death toll rising every day in the UK, it seems to be a situation that's just getting worse and worse. But like you said, hopefully there's a cure for it, and out there someone will hopefully find a cure for it. Duke, you was a freeweight world champion in your time of boxing. We've looked back at your career over the last few days preparing for this interview. When you look back on your career, how happy are you with what you achieved? And if there's anything you could do different, what would it have been different?
Are you joking? Jesus Christ. Oh,
listen, you might have wanted to do something different in your career. You might have wanted to change something. I don't know. I just thought I'd ask the question.
Nah, come on, mate. Jesus Christ. I've had a career that I don't know. How can I explain my career? It's just
it was a great career. Listen, it was a phenomenal career. Freeweight world champion.
Yeah, but you forget to mention two-time British champion, European champion. Of
course, yes.
I cover just about every stunt. I'm not blowing my own trumpet. It's just there in the record books. I can't sort of dumb it down. It's just, it is what it is. I've had an amazing career. If I could do it all again, of course I would. If I could do it with the exact same people, 100%. Anything I can't change, or as times have changed, there's the money aspect. Fighters now earn fortunes in the sport.
Yes.
If I was fighting today as a three-weight world champion, I'd be a multi-millionaire. But listen, money can't buy what I've got now. To have peace in my life, or
Yeah.
to be at peace with myself and all the people that are around me. You can't really put a price on that. Listen, I've got a mortgage the same as everybody else. I've got a day job the same as everybody else. And people say to me, how comes you've achieved so much and you're still having to work for a living? But like I say, I didn't get the big financial breaks in my career,
Mm.
and that's life. I don't harp on it. I don't think to myself, well, why me? I just get on because at the end of the day, my name's in the record books to the day I die, and I'm sure there's a lot of boxers look at my career and probably envy that position that I'm in. So all boxers want to be remembered
Mm-hmm.
when their career's finished. All boxers want to be remembered. So I think I've more than cemented my sort of legacy where British boxing is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of the fortunate few to have been able to call myself a multi-weight world champion. And like I said, I've got peace in my life, so I can't really ask for more than that.
A fantastic career you definitely had, and a massive inspiration to British boxing. Doing what you did, a multi-weight world champion. Winning the British and the European. You had some great fights as well. I remember watching your fight with Steve Robinson the other night. It was another great fight. I just want you mentioned the money side of it, and there is obviously a lot of money involved in not just boxing but in all forms of sports.
Yeah.
The money side of it, do you think that's an issue as to why potentially that could stop the big fights from happening, such as AJ versus Fury, which is a fight that the British public are gonna have been highly demanding since his stunning performance against Deontay Wilder.
Yeah, it's always money, isn't it? Money is the root
Hmm.
to anything, whether you're successful or your demise. It's always about money. Sadly, obviously, I mean, listen, it's not a sad thing. I mean, you get in the sport to make money,
Yes,
obviously. So when you step through the ropes and you put your life on the line, you want paying for it. I don't blame or begrudge any fighter for making a fortune out of this sport because this sport is like it's not just a sport; it's a business, and it's like pretty much no other because it's probably one of the few sports where you're legally bound. To get punched, you're legally bound to get hurt, and obviously, there's the other side of the coin where after your career, you want to make sure you can look at your bank balance and say to yourself, you know what, it was worth it. Taking all those punches, getting up in the morning, doing your runs, going without food, going without sex, going without drinks, going without socialising. You live like a monk. That's how you become the best.
hmm
So but you want paying for it. So there's nothing wrong with that. Which is what I say. I don't begrudge any fighter that makes a fortune out of this sport because they deserve it.
100%. It's definitely probably the most difficult sport out there to get involved in. And I mentioned AJ and Tyson Fury, and the high demand of that fight has gone massive now. Obviously, with what Tyson achieved a few weeks ago in Las Vegas, knocking out Deontay Wilder. From a former fighter's point of view and from a pundit's point of view, what do you think would be the main reason for that fight not to happen, if not anytime soon?
There's no reason the fight's not going to happen. The fight's going to happen. The promoters are promoters for one reason only. They have to promote the fight. So the longer they keep these two apart, and the longer they keep these guys winning and make them even more attractive, then obviously everybody that's involved in the fight is going to make more money. That's the bottom line. It's about money. I think for the boxers personally, it goes deeper than that. For AJ and for Fury, it goes deeper than that because they want to prove to themselves that they are the number one.
Hmm.
So if we look at things in the cold light of day now, as we are, and sorry, that's my dog Trevor,
It's alright.
and you look at AJ, yeah, you look at AJ, and you look at Fury, and you say to yourself, who's number one? It's for me, it's not a foregone conclusion. As good as victory that was for Tyson Fury beating Deontay Wilder, it was phenomenal what he did to him because he bullied him, just beat the crap out of him.
Hmm.
So, but for me, the AJ fight is a completely different concept, and there's no better position to be in when you're going into a world title fight when people start to doubt you and knock you, even though you are a champion. So for me, I mean, listen, everybody's getting carried away with what Fury has just done. I don't blame them. I don't blame them because it was a fantastic result. But then you look at the other side of the coin, and you've got to say to yourself, well, if that's the best that if that's the best that Wilder could do, if that's the best that Wilder has got, and given the fact that AJ has been beaten by Ruiz and bounced back and looked really good doing it, so he showed a different side of his game now. So you don't know, or what I honestly believe is there's more to AJ than what we've seen. We know he's a puncher, but now we know he's a boxer as well. He can box, and his boxing skills are only going to improve on that because he'll get confidence from that victory. So for me, listen. If you was asking me who would win between Fury and AJ, I think I'd have to go with AJ.
I mean,
That probably means Fury. That probably means Fury wins because I'm not very good at picking the winner.
You mentioned that when you look at about AJ, Anthony Joshua, he's shown he can box, and I think before the knockout to Andy Ruiz, a lot of people seem to forget that performance against Joseph Parker, and the beauty of this fight is that you've got Tyson Fury who's shown he can knock his opponent out, and a lot of people, including myself, didn't have him knocking out Deontay Wilder, but in the end that proved to be the case. He knocked Deontay Wilder out, as you said. He beat the crap out of him. Do you think that both their styles would make for a good fight? I mean, if the fight did happen, you think it will happen, and I'm hoping it will happen. Do you think it'll be an exciting fight, or do you think it's just a fight that will come down to who boxes better on the night?
Yeah, listen, it's an exciting fight because obviously, I don't think for 1 minute Tyson Fury could do to AJ what he's just done to Deontay Wilder. Nah, not going to happen. Because Wilder's a small heavyweight, AJ's a big heavyweight. So if AJ can make the right sort of, they use this word adjustments. Boxers often say they've got to make adjustments to their style and adjustments to their training and one thing and another. So let's just say AJ gets it right and makes the right adjustments, which aren't really that big. For me, he's got more than what it takes to beat Fury. More than, I mean, let's get it right. Fury goes over. Fury's been knocked over before. AJ's been knocked over before, which makes them both vulnerable.
Yes.
And if you was asking me which one out of the two is the bigger puncher, for me, there's only one winner. So if AJ makes the right adjustments to his whole sort of makeup, he could quite comfortably beat Fury. But again, Fury does have the style to torment him and drive him mad and make him burn out and take him, into deep water, into the later rounds in the fight, because we all know AJ gets a bit tired and starts to lag in the later part of fights. So it's an intriguing fight, isn't it? It's an intriguing fight.
I think it's probably one of the biggest fights that British boxing has to offer, and I think it's a fight that it'd be great to see. It's for all the marbles at Wembley in front of 90,000. For all the heavyweight belts, it would be a very, very good fight, and fingers crossed it can happen.
For that reason alone, that's why the fight's got to happen. When was the last time we had two British fighters in a unification world heavyweight title fight? Many a years. So just trying to think.
Was it Bruno versus Lewis?
Bruno Lewis. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Again, but this fight is a lot more evenly matched than that fight is.
Both
than that fight
in their
was.
prime, and obviously boxing's grown massively since the Bruno and Lewis days. So it's a mega fight, and hopefully we'll get to see it one day. Duke, before we end the interview, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Well, just to the British public, I just hope they all stay safe. I know nobody else gets this COVID-19 flu-like epidemic thing that we're going through. I just hope everybody, stays healthy, stays safe, and just to look after one another.
And we, of course, wish the same for you as well. Really appreciate your time, Duke. Hopefully one day come down to London, get a face-to-face interview with you. We've spoken a few times over about Instagram, but we've just not quite got there. But really appreciate your time. Thank you very much for joining us, and just stay safe and look after yourself and keep the family safe, and hopefully we will catch up with you soon, Duke.
You too, Faisal. Thank you very much. I appreciate
Mckenzie,
that.
Thank you very much for your time, and thank you for talking to Lights Out.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.